Hey, I'm Jeff and welcome back to another video. This is my big and beautiful brand new Monstera Thai Constellation. It's been downstairs here acclimating for the last couple weeks and it's been doing very well. I want to take it out of the pot today for a couple reasons. I want to add a support stake at the back of the plant so it can continue to get larger leaves and hopefully it will size up and get the holes which we all want. It does have a nice juicy aerial root poking through right now, so I want to set it up for the best chance of success. It can adhere to the wood plank. I did make a little divot at the back of the pot and I tried to add a support stake in already, but I did break a couple roots, so I want to take it out of the pot, look at the roots, and then add the support stake properly. Plus, I want to remove the soil that it is in. I want something that is a little bit more fast draining, something that doesn't hold on to moisture as long as this regular just potting mix. So that's the plan for today, so let's take it out and see what we're dealing with. If you've never repotted these or have added a support stake, there is a front and a back to every Monstera, so I'm going to show that as well. But I just want to get this out of the pot and check out these roots here first. So I'm just going to kind of loosen it up around the edges here and just pulling up lightly. And oh yeah, okay, well that's kind of surprising. So although it's kind of entangled, I've seen way worse root-bound Monsteras. With Monsteras, you don't want a pot that's too large. They like to be a little bit more snug. So I would say for pot size, something just slightly larger than the root ball itself. So I'm going to untangle all of these roots and just kind of see or gauge what the overall root ball size is. Now I really don't have a pot on hand that is any bigger, but if I can untangle some of these roots, then I'll just be able to, I guess, judge a little bit better the overall size of the root ball. So I'm just using my pencil and I'm just lightly plucking away at the soil. So you can see I made a little divot at the back here. Some of these roots, I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have just have done it the proper way, taken it out of the pot, lightly loosened up everything, and then I could have added the support stake. Super healthy roots. This is a very healthy plant, so I am happy that I bought this. I have a couple smaller little ones, but I wanted this area right here to be filled out, and this just happened to pop up at one of my local plant shops there, like I said, my favorite plant shop. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to quickly grab one, the nicest one, and then I'll toss it, or I did toss it in this corner here. And I'm not going to bore you with the entire process of untangling these roots, but I just wanted to quickly show what I'm doing. So just poke the pencil in, you can use your hand, and just kind of loosen things up. I like to follow the roots along the bottom here as well, and just kind of get right in there and just shake it up. So you can see this stuff, it's yeah, it will hold on to moisture longer than what I'm comfortable with. So there is a ton of roots in here actually, so I'm a little bit worried about my pot size. I'll have to clean this up and then I'll determine what size. Well, it's pretty well, it's going to have to go in that other pot, so I'm going to make it work. So as you can see, with the plant in the pot, it really doesn't leave much room for the support stake as well as for much expansion of the root system as it continues to grow. I ran out to the shed and I did find a couple pots larger, and I hope it's not too large. So this one, so you can see, is quite a bit larger and maybe like an inch or two deeper. So now I have to make a decision whether this is too large. Actually, I don't think it will be. Or I have this one. It's a plastic nursery pot. It's not as deep. But this one, you can see it still has some room for the roots to expand. It has some room for the support stake at the back. Now, which one do I choose? I like that this one has kind of tapered edges on the side, so it doesn't have as large of a volume as this one, which has straight edges. There will just be way more soil. So I think I may actually use this one. So although it's fairly wide at the top here, you can see it's definitely narrower at the base. And I can add the support stake right here, and then I'll add soil in. So I think I'm going to be using this terracotta. It would have been nice if it had just a slightly smaller root ball, and then I could have fit it in this one, but it's just too jam-packed. It has no room for any root growth or expansion, so I think I'm going to go with this one. So this one is an 8-inch pot, and this one might be a little bit larger. No, it's a 10-inch. So technically this is one size larger. I don't think there's too many 9-inch size pots out there. Yeah, maybe this one could have been a little bit shorter, but all I'm going to do is add soil to this mark. So technically this is one pot size larger. This is 8, this is 10. So yeah, just do the best that you can. Nothing has to be perfect. You're going to have some criticism, but in my opinion, I think this is the most appropriate size pot for this repotting. Now I'm just going to add the support stake at the back. I just like to use any sort of recycled material that I can. These are wood slats from one of my kids' bunk beds. Yeah, they no longer use it, so I just have like 15 of these pine slats. I cut this one down to size just so it's not too large. And like I said, I'm going to show you the back of a Monstera. It's the same thing for a young plant as well as a mature one like this. The aerial roots are always going to be at the back of the plant, and you can see there is one larger one right here, and here's this little nub that is popping through right now. So that's the aerial root. So this is the back of the plant, and it just so happens that the leaves on this one are facing the front. Sometimes, depending on the direction of light source, they might be off to the side, they might be facing up. So it can be a little bit tricky sometimes to know exactly which is the back and which is the front, but just make sure you know where the aerial roots are. So most times I like to have the plank at the very bottom of the pot. That just helps with stability and support. And all I'm doing is just kind of eyeballing the placement and the depth that I want the plant to be seated in. So something like that. And now I do have a little support plant Velcro. Okay. I like to secure the plant to the wood plank before I add soil, simply for the reason that I can free up one of my hands to help with adding soil. So you can see the aerial root is in contact with the plank. That's exactly what you want. When adding a support tie to the plant and the plank, never attach it to the leaf petiole here. You don't want to secure these to the plank. You only want the main stem or the main trunk of the plant like this. So now I can take the plank and the plant out of the pot. You can see it has a fairly large drain hole at the bottom. Someone told me this hack before. You can just use a coffee filter. So I'm just going to place that at the bottom, and then I'm going to add a little bit of soil. The reason why you want that at the bottom is just so the soil literally doesn't run out of the pot every time you water it. So I'm just going to add a bit at the bottom. I'm going to place the plant and all the roots in the pot. Now I'm going to try and keep it straight and upright like this. So making sure all those roots are in there. I'm only going to fill it up just so that all these roots are covered up. That's probably all soil I'm going to add in the front. I'm just going to add a little bit at the back here. A little bit of a gap there, so something like that. And once you water it, then that'll help kind of pack down, settle the soil and make it more stable. But you want those roots to breathe, and you want them to dry out. I don't want them staying wet for too long. I don't think you can see me. And then this terracotta pot's going to help as well. It's going to absorb soil moisture. It basically wicks it up, and then it just helps it evaporate a little bit faster. So much better setup for this plant. Okay, I'm definitely happy that I went with this size of pot, and as you can see, I didn't fill it right up to the edge or to the top of the pot. And you don't want to plant it too deep either. So I did seed it a little bit lower than it was initially because it had a little, like another one of these little leaves. It fell off when I was cleaning off the soil from the roots there. This one's just at the top of the soil there, so that is okay. Otherwise, when you give it some water, it's just going to rot. But as this plant continues to grow, over time, it's going to shed the lower leaves off. So this is an appropriate height for this size cutting. So you can see I can move the soil around from that leaf. So that is how I repot this. I can't remember if I said I was going to water this after repotting it. I think I may have, but I will not be watering this today. And I have a kind of a general rule after repotting plants, whether I'm going to give water or not, and that's I only water or give them water if it needed water before I repotted it. So hopefully that makes sense. I did water this one probably about 4 or 5 days ago, so I might wait maybe another 3 or 4 before I give this another good soaking. I want all the roots that were damaged, like those smaller secondary roots. It definitely knocked off some when I removed the soil. So I want those to have a chance to repair themselves, callus over, before I start flooding this with water. But if your plant needed to be watered before the repotting process, then definitely I don't see why you couldn't give the plant some water. Now I know there's going to be some difference of opinions out there, but if you think it needs water, give it some water. Otherwise, I think that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you have any comments or questions about anything that you saw in this video today, please feel free to ask. Leave it down in the comment section. Otherwise, that's generally how you repot a Monstera, especially these larger ones. You just want to go one pot size larger. So just do the best that you can, and hopefully it all works out for you. Thanks for watching my videos. Take care, everyone. Bye.